Machines made of exotic materials and massive, powerful engines are fine and all, but what if you wanted something sporty that also fit in a compact parking spot? Bigger isn't always better, especially when speed is often achieved by maximizing the ratio between power and weight. One way to achieve that is to find the most expensive lightweight materials and get a massive engine to crank out insane amounts of horsepower. Or you can start small with a little engine massaging and have a car that's both fun to drive and completely usable, like these 2021 offerings. Mazda Miata MX-5. There's an adage in club racing that whatever the question is, the answer is Miata. The plucky MX-5 revived the two-seater sports car market and inexplicably for the last 30 years hasn't had a successful contender for affordable sports car fun. The secret sauce for the Miata is its simplicity. While each evolution of the Miata has moved it forward, they've never messed with the formula of a small, simple two-seat roadster. 2021 offers encroaching tech, like the now ubiquitous infotainment system, and even a model with a fixed roof. 2019 saw horsepower get a boost, but if you simply must have that big engine oomph, Monster Miata offers kits to install 5-liter Mustang V8s into the tiny roadster to live your Cobra dreams without Cobra prices. Volkswagen GTi. Not everyone gets a market to themselves though. Instead, they create a popular segment teeming with competition, like the Volkswagen GTi. Volkswagen's sporty version of their Golf hatchback popularized the factory hot rod version of the cheap grocery getter and has quietly remained a staple of their lineup since 1979. Over that time, it's evolved, experimenting with bigger engines. The 2021 model is a swan song for the 7th generation Golf, tapping out with 228 horsepower and 258 pounds-feet of torque that's available throughout much of the RPM range. With only a few styling cues separating the GTi from its economy-based car, the GTi also manages a degree of subtlety for those who want to play fast and loose with speed limits without attracting undue attention. Be good, guys. Obey all traffic laws. BMW M2. BMW has staked its reputation as the ultimate driving machine. In modern times, that's been in the form of their sports coupes and sedans. Fans of the right foot fell in love with BMW as a sporty daily. With the 3 Series packing on the pounds over the years, people started to long for that compact sports coupe that the 2002 and original 320 delivered. Enter the 2 Series and its factory hop version, the M2. Like the previous cars, a third pedal is offered, but also a dual-clutch flappy pedal transmission can be had too. All that comes at a price, however, and a BMW price at that. The all-business M3 competition comes in at 2 Miatas, or around $60,000. Toyota 86 and Subaru BRZ. The Toyota 86 is a product of nostalgia brought on by a comic book. While most Americans might not get nostalgic for the Toyota Tercel, over in Japan, the mid-80s model AE86 became a legend for shade tree tuners. Its starring role in the manga and anime, Initial D, cemented the car in the imagination of tuners, leading Toyota to team up with Subaru to bring the badge back, retaining the core elements. Engine up front, power delivered to the rear tires, small and reasonably affordable. It was a popular enough turn to outlast the side brand Scion, the badge it originally wore on American soil. New buyers might want to wait until the end of the year when the new hot version warmed over by Toyota's in-house Gazoo Racing comes out, giving the Subaru-sourced engine a 26 horsepower boost to 228. Mini Cooper John Cooper works GP. Do you want to spend around $50,000 for a performance car and have no one believe it? The Mini Cooper JCW GP is the car for you. The original Mini started off as an attempt to give post-war Europeans an affordable, simple car. Then, race car designer John Cooper saw the potential of the tiny Econobox, and the Mini Cooper legend began. Add GP to that JCW, and you get a limited edition model with the most factory horsepower in a front-wheel drive at 301 and a price worthy of its parent company. This year's GP offering offers no compromises, meaning you have to compromise things, like a soft ride. Hyundai Veloster N. Most people might not immediately think of Hyundai when they're thinking of performance cars. That's despite Hyundai desperately trying to tell people that just because they're affordable doesn't mean they have to be boring. For instance, the Hyundai Veloster N. The Veloster N makes 275 horsepower, does the sprint to 60 mph in 4.8 seconds, which is only a tenth slower than the Mini Cooper JCW GP that costs $20,000 more. And the Veloster offers a third pedal option and a dual clutch option for those who prefer two pedals, all on a car that comes in at less than $35,000 fully stocked. Subaru WRX STI. Subaru was perfectly fine with its customer base of adjunct professors, librarians, and people who gather their own wild mushrooms, and didn't think that Americans would be interested in their WRC Rally homologulated version of the Impreza. WRX made it to American shores, becoming an instant tuner favorite with its all-wheel drive and potent Boxster engine. The WRX brings the Impreza to 268 horsepower. Add an STI to that for a few grand more, and horsepower bumps over 300. The rally-tested ride is not for the faint of heart though, as the car never lets the driver forget what it was built for. Porsche 718 Boxster and Cayman. Whatever you do, don't call the Porsche 718 an entry model. Yes, it comes in at a price point below the flagship 911, but it's far away the most expensive car in this list with option packages and configurations that can push the final price into six figures. What you get for that premium is the purest expression of Porsche. With the engine mounted in the middle and surrounded by over half a century of Porsche engineering, making them a smile-inducing sports car that lives four corners. Porsche insists on treating the Cayman and Boxster as wholly different cars, and not just a convertible and hardtop, but they share enough parts to make it an issue of whether you like wind in the hair or a tint top. BMW Z4 and Toyota Supra. There's another option for those choosing between a hard and soft top, but those selections cross very different brands. BMW's answer to the Boxster is the shark-nosed Z4. If you're looking for a permanent roof and less badge prestige, the Z4 shares its drivetrain and suspension layout with the new Toyota Supra. When the Supra last left us, it was beloved for its eminently tunable 2JZ GTi engine, but it also suffered from being a $50,000 Toyota in the 90s, though now those models are trading hands for almost twice that. In 2021, the $50,000 Supra with BMW innards isn't as out of place. Honda Civic Type R. The Civic was supposed to be a response to rising gas prices and the need for an affordable, reliable car. No one was supposed to think it was exciting. They definitely weren't meant to have a massive cult following, including a street racing club in Japan of just Civic owners. To feed that need for speed and the JDM crowd that loves the Civic, they have the Type R. It has styling that looks like it said yes to the accessory aisle. But in a head-to-head with two other cars on this list and an AMG Benz, Motor Trend crowned it the best driving front-wheel drive car available. The best part is that these cars are all usable as daily drivers that deliver canyon-carving thrills, good gas mileage, and a place to put your groceries, and they can be had for the price of the annual service of the more expensive exotics.